we are so spoiled. Like, we're so spoiled. Those of us that like cameras and travel and film and all these things, we are very, very spoiled for choice, for options. And I kind of just wanted to sort of go over this thing, the XS20, the Fujifilm XS20. And I don't know if I want to do a lot of these videos where I like praise gear or talk about like, hey, this thing's amazing, or this thing sucks, or I like this, or I like that. But that's always fun to do. Yeah, so the XS20 is a rare camera, personally speaking, and technically speaking as well. It's one of the few cameras I went and bought at launch and paid retail. Sold a couple of lenses and an older camera and bought the Fuji. And the reason I did that was because I was following the launch of the camera, and I was looking at the specs and everything. I had an XT4, which I sold in order to save up for this guy. And what I really liked about the XT4 was the IBIS. I liked the image quality. And basically, this is like that camera, but just better. It has something that I really wanted, which is the 422 10-bit 6K open gate. While that's not everything for what I do for work, I figured that was going to be a definite plus. And I also was looking forward to the F-Log2 log profile. Both of those things turned out to be great. Both of them turned out to be a great help. And I use this camera now for everything. Like I said, I got it at launch, and I've taken it to Pennsylvania. I've taken it to Texas. I've taken it to Tennessee. I've taken it on road trips. I've taken it on airplanes. I don't travel all that much, but I have really put this camera through its paces, except for, out in the rain and if it's too humid or misty or whatever, because I do baby it, because it's not weather sealed and it's not like one of those cameras that you just do whatever with. The real reason I bought it over the XH2S, which is what I really wanted, was the size. This is a tiny, tiny camera. It is so small. Really, I don't have the biggest hands, but there it is. It really just forms to your hand, and it kind of disappears. It's tiny. In terms of like positives or negatives or what I like or what I don't like, there isn't much I don't like. I do like everything about it, except for the lack of weather sealing, you would think, but it didn't really affect me. I just didn't take it out when it was raining. I didn't want to really go out when it was raining or snowing. I've had it for a very long time. I used it for everything, including work. Fuji has really good native lenses. You can also get a speed booster, which I did. I got a speed booster, and I used my Nikon lenses with it, and it's great. You don't get autofocus, of course, but you get really, really good. That speed booster, it gives you an extra stop of light. If you like shallow depth of field, it's great. It gives like a softness and a separation between what's in focus and then what's out of focus. The focus fall off. It's really, really beautiful for video, also for stills. And I guess I'm gonna just put in a bunch of sample photos and video from all over. And aside from the small size, some people might not like it, like it's too small to rig up or whatever. Yeah, sure, that's true, but you wouldn't be using this to shoot a professional movie because it doesn't quite have the assist tools. It also has one major negative, and really for me it's the only negative, and that negative is the overheating issue. It definitely does overheat. Because I sort of have large hands, sort of large, I guess, they kind of cover the entirety of the camera, especially where that battery is, the way I hold it to stabilize it. For video specifically, that's naturally the only time it overheats. I found it overheating. And the more compressed the codec, I think the more compressed the codec I used, I think it overheated faster, which makes sense. There's more computing going on, right? The processors are running hotter, I think. But if you're doing travel and personal work, even like vlogging, it doesn't really happen. But for work, I often am shooting 6K 422 long up. I don't often shoot all intra that much. I don't really need it. And what I found was I would get an overheat warning fairly quickly, but it wouldn't shut off right away. It would run for quite a while. So once or twice, what I did was I went and got cold packs out of the freezer, and I shot for about 16 minutes straight for one session that I filmed for work, and I got an overheat warning, and then it was like, hey, this thing's gonna shut off soon. So luckily it worked out, and I ran over to the cold pack. I just opened up the back screen, or it was already open, but I basically had the back screen open. I put it on top of the cold pack like this, and about 5, maybe 10 minutes later, it was fine, and I could use it for another 15-ish minutes. But that was too close to being an issue for me, so I figured I'm not going to use it for work anymore, even though it never actually totally quit on me to the point where I was like, oh, I can't film. Sorry, that didn't really happen. But for my own personal use, I filmed a couple of talking head videos with it. The focus, the face tracking, the eye tracking was really good. No issues. The IBIS is good, not as good as Panasonic, but it's good. Amazing? No, it's not amazing. Now the still photos, of course. The still photos are excellent. If you shoot Fuji, you're definitely a stills photographer. Also, if not primarily, Fuji stills are just so good. They're just so good. Canon, I think, Canon and Fuji are like right there. They're neck and neck in terms of quality, in terms of photographic stills. I absolutely love Fuji stills. And I still have my good old Fuji X-E1 that I still use off and on to this day. I'll probably even make a video about that little camera. Absolutely love it. I also like that I can customize this dial, and I use it for changing the ISO. And then I changed my ISO button actually to white balance, because this was faster for me for photography. And for video, I like that technically, I may be wrong on this, but it seems like it has a dual base ISO. Because the F-Log2 is at ISO 2000. It's crazy high for a native ISO. But you can work with it. You just have to use lots of ND, which has a sauce. I feel it has like a slight softening effect on the footage. It also lowers contrast a little bit. Sometimes I won't use a softening filter because I don't need to when I've got that much ND. It gives a little bit, I think. It definitely has a little bit of an effect on the image. I think it's maybe 2 stops. The second base ISO, it cleans up a little bit. I might just be imagining it, but it feels like something's there. And that's always nice to have. But 2000 ISO, I can shoot at night with an f2 lens, or I can speed boost an older SLR lens and get an extra stop of light. I've traveled with it enough, and it just doesn't fail. And also switching with all the different custom modes between, your video. It's even got a vlog setting, which I thought was like nonsense. Just use a custom mode, right? No, it actually came in handy. And yeah, I actually used it a little bit. Video mode, I've never used the filter one. Then the creative mode, I use those for different types of photos that I wanted set up, whether I wanted a slide film look or whatever look I was going for in stills or different video modes. I don't shoot a lot of vertical video, so I don't really have anything on that. I don't get tired of this camera. I don't get tired of the footage that I get out of it. And I certainly probably never going to get tired of the stills. The stills that come out of this camera are incredible. So more Fuji content probably coming out. The XS20 it's so handy and so useful. You'll want to take it with you because it just doesn't get in the way. Yeah, it'll get you out there and get you shooting and filming, whatever. Great little camera.
She's over here.
Look at what the temperature inside that greenhouse.